So just paint the board to start with. It helps seal it. And I'm just showing you that I'm mixing the resin. I use Nick Pro resin. I love it. It's good for shallow casting and for tabletop. And pour your resin into the sand. You can add more resin. Don't pour the sand into the resin because then you wind up with way more than you need to. And yes, I've made that mistake. But I'm just showing how you mix it, and then if you see that you're getting dry, you can add a little bit more, little bits at a time. It really does go a long way with this. And I'm mixing it to the point where it is about the consistency of peanut butter, which I'll show you here in a moment. See, it's very much like peanut butter. And then I'm just spreading it out a little bit using the spatula, and then I'm going to get in there with my hands. I feel like I can do it a whole lot better than with the spatula using my fingers. I can feel what I'm doing. And surprisingly, this actually spread out quite far. So don't think that you can't mash it down and spread it out some more. You just keep spreading it out. It'll go. This actually covered that whole corner except for a spot at the top, which you'll see later. And right here you can see some people tape that edge. I really like the finish edge. You don't have to do that. You can tape your edge. Either way works. And you can also do all of this on the inside. So after you're done with the resin, it actually starts to look like it's getting pooled a little bit, pooling up a little bit where the resin separates a bit from the sand. I always do this with the dry sand. Plus I wanted to give it more of a dry sand beach look up to the point where you see I'm stopping, because I'm going to make it look like the idea of this painting was for me to have footprints going in the sand towards the beach. And there's a bottle, a message in a bottle, like they released the bottle into the receding tide. So that's what I'm going to create there at the top, is like how the receding tides digs into the sand. You can kind of see where I started it. And now here's where I'm showing how I do the footprints. Looking at pictures really goes a long way, guys. When I work on anything that I'm doing, whether I'm sculpting, drawing, wire wrapping, or doing any of this stuff, I study pictures of the real thing, because I guess I am just more into realism than I am anything else. So I like to make things look as much as I can like the real thing, because nature is fascinating to me. That is even the people. You're all fascinating to me as well. I've been drawing portraits for years, but I really like working with the resin and doing the new stuff that I've been doing. But as you can see, I'm showing the footprints, and then I just kind of went across the beach with them. And then there's my little message in a bottle. It's hard to tell, but it says sending love. And this is just showing the first phase of the sand, how far I got with it. And I let that set up completely before it set up for 24 hours before I went in with more sand. I've got driftwood and starfish. The idea of having all the stuff on the beach is that that's what was left behind, the gifts from the sea, as the tide recedes and takes your bottle of love out into the ocean. And here's where I'm trying to recreate where the tide recedes, where the waves were at one point as the tide goes down. And it's leaving behind a whole bunch of little presents. Some sea glass in there, real sea fan, real starfish. There's some shells, different shells. I've got an abalone shell. And this is just showing the Nick Pro resin that I use and the different colors that I use. And I didn't show you the whole of me mixing all three colors or anything. I just wanted to give people an idea about how much color you add to how much resin, just how I do it. It works for me. My stuff sets up. I'm just trying to show you what works. I can show you what doesn't work, but then who's learning? So here I'm trying to get the edge, and I like that. I wanted to get that receding line, like the wave came in and it's receding again, and it pulls that foam out with it. So I started doing this, and then you'll see I come in with the heat gun, and you can see what kind of nozzle I'm using. You can use whatever nozzle you want. And there's other videos on YouTube of people. They're people that I've seen their videos, and I've subscribed to their channels because I do my research before I begin projects too. And then I add my own little twist to things. They've taught some really good techniques for beginners. I wish I could think of them right off the top of my head right now. I'm very sorry, guys. But YouTube channel, look up Resin Seascape Art for Beginners. And those are the ones that are very helpful. And that helped me to learn. So that's the stage that I got with the first dose of resin, the white resin. So then I came in again with the white colorant, and I'm going along the edge one more time to make it a little bit sharper and keep it there. And then after I'm done with this, I don't show it, but I did hit it gently and lightly on low with my heat gun, just to kind of take the sharpness out a tiny bit, and then it also helped create more cells in the white. It's actually very relaxing to sit down and do this. Maybe it's relaxing for you to watch somebody else do it, but as you can see, it's not difficult what I'm doing. It's time consuming, but it's not difficult. Just take your time, look at pictures. And make a plan before you begin. Anytime that I've done something and I haven't pre-planned it, it's half as good as it does when I've learned from that mistake and sat down and made a plan. This is the second attempt at doing a footprints in the sand painting. It is much larger than the last one. I used way too much white in the last one. I liked it, but not as much as this one. This one actually, I don't know, I might keep it because I really like it. I'm proud of it. So these are bubble beads. You can find them on Amazon or on Etsy. It is called bubble beads, so just look them up by Glass Bubble Beads, and it looks like bubbles. Literally, they're all different sizes, and then I had another small bag of slightly larger ones that I threw in here and there. So that's the end of the first step with the resin. And this is the result. And I could have left it here. It actually looks very pretty. But I want that message in the bottle to look like it is being carried away by the waves of the tide moving out. So I did not stop here. I continued on. If you don't have a message in a bottle out there, this would be an absolutely beautiful place to stop. And there it is, sending love. So this would have been a good spot to stop. And then here's the final results. I forgot to film, I'm very sorry, the waves, but you saw how I did the last waves. Same concept. You can do it a couple more times if you want to. I just chose to do one more layer and put the white going throughout, and then I just kind of blew it around until I got the effect that I liked. You got to play with resin. You got to play with it all. every art. The only way you're ever going to get anything done is by giving it a chance. You got to try it and then play with it. Learn the resin that you're using. Learn how much of everything that you need to do. Everybody else has different ideas and they're great. What works for one person might not work for another because of the type of resin they're using. So this is my message in a bottle. Sending love.